What's up, Raiders? Bionic here. Welcome to today's Raid Shadow Legends video where we are going to do a champion build today. It is going to be a Foli. Now I know a lot of other YouTubers recently, about a month ago, made their own, but mine is going to be special because again, it's on a free-to-play account, and Foli for me is a very special champion. He's been around for a very long time. Why? Because Foli is the first free-to-play fusion that I ever completed about 11 months ago. Here's a quick snapshot of my account or my champion roster then, okay? 3 Cold Hearts, Mike Crimson Helm, which was my MVP, and I had pulled, if I'm not mistaken, my 2 legendaries back then, which was a Ghostborn and a Lugan, not exactly S-tier champions. So when I got to Foli, or when I had the chance to get Foli, I was already starting to get prepared. So today's also a little bit going to be about that free-to-play fusions, or just doing fusions in general, can generally net you some pretty good champions in the long run, right? I talked about this a lot recently. Some of the best champions that I have are my free-to-play fusion champions, all right? So I had talked about how many potions you need to stock up for this, and so on and so on. So it's pretty interesting to see that this far down the road, I am still using this champion quite a lot, right? Also, I will remind you guys that these fusion events are getting harder and harder to complete. This was Shamrock last year, then we had Foli, then I think we had Molly in the between here, then we had Harvest Jack. You can already see it's getting harder, and then we got the permanent fusion of Rosin, and eventually it all became something like this. And now it's even worse, is that it's not even farmable rare champions. It's literally all champions that you have to get through the events which are tied to these fusion events, right? So why am I saying all this? Is because they buffed Foli, okay? So Torment got a nerf, but he's still pretty useful. Roto somewhat got a nerf, but he's still pretty good, pretty decent overall. Foli got a buff and is now S tier. Guys, this guy is in the top tier arena right now, if I'm not mistaken. Some of the top players, see, Stu Gaming right here, boom, Foli. Do we have any more? Right there, another Foli. So he is very useful, okay? So the other YouTubers have proven that he's perhaps not the best for a typical clan boss build, but he is very good in the arena, and so that's how I built mine, okay? So today will be about showing the gear that I have after 16 months on a champion that I was not able to do before, and it's this right here. 30,000 HP, that's pretty respectable. We've got 4.3k attack, which is kind of decent. We've got 200 speed, this is important. Then 100% crit rate, this is crucial. And then we've got 255% crit damage. This could always be better, but this is all I could come up with for now. A decent amount of accuracy, because you still want that turn meter reduction to work off of his A3. And so to do this, I have 2 cruel sets, right? And I think that's a real important part here, is that I was able to do this on a champion before. It's my Royal Guard. I've never taken him apart, but it was done with 2 critical rate sets and then 2 random pieces. Okay, so way too slow, but I have used a Royal Guard as my farmer before. Why? Because even if I were to deck out like an Ethel or something, or a Kale to be my dedicated farmer, I have no other use for those champions elsewhere. Foli is a much better choice for the arena because of his skills, so I decided I'm going to gear to Foli and I'm going to give him a shot as my farmer, see what happens, okay? And I'll show you guys after. So we've got 2 pieces of speed with, again, a lot of like crit rate, crit damage. We've got these fresh gloves from this month, crit damage, 6-star, really nice. Then we've got a decent attack percent chest right here. This could be 6-star, but I still don't have that type of gear on my account. Then we've got some pretty decent boots here as well, okay? We have a flat attack ring along with some HP percent and some attack percent. Crit damage amulet, this could be 6-star as well, not there yet unfortunately. And then we have accuracy here with some decent speed. This could be attack instead, but then again, like I said, I do want a little bit of accuracy on my guy, okay? So I never really put books into Foli until 2 days ago, decided to give it a shot, and I got really lucky, maxed out the A3 and then got 1 into the passive. So I'm good with that for now, because the first thing that I want with my Foli is to use this skill and hit as hard as possible as my dedicated nuker. As for masteries, pretty typical here. We're going for like a nuker build type, with Helm Smasher being really important because I do not use the decreased defense debuff in my main arena team, okay? And then we've got the defense here for some counterattacks, right, with these two right here. So pretty standard, nothing too fancy there. So now let's look at what he can do. Starting with the campaign. We want to see how fast this guy can get as a dedicated farmer with these stats. And I think that I've sort of hit the sweet spot, or basically it's just enough for him to kind of take out most of the waves in almost one hit. We do need those masteries to proc for him to get the cooldown reduction for this to work perfectly, right? We do also have the chance of getting a weak hit here. There's just nothing we can do. Then Blood Disruptor right here goes on all 4 targets. We get 1 hit here and then typically goes into this. Okay, so it's 10 seconds. But I have had a little bit better where everything lines up perfectly and then we don't get anything here in the first wave to slow us down. Then this one goes right here, all 4. And then if we get lucky here, the trigger of the decreased cooldown worked, okay? And then he goes right into his AoE, all right? So it's not a perfect farmer. Like, he's not going to consistently get like 8 seconds or 10 seconds, but for me, between 8 and 12 seconds, and for having the ability to save that gear in a sense and be able to use him elsewhere, works just fine. I'm really happy with this. I think it serves the purpose. It could be better, but again, I don't want to fully deck out a Bellower specifically for this. I want my Bellower in a stun set. And like I said, I don't want a useless Ethel or kill that I'm not going to reuse anywhere else, so I'm good with this. I'll stick with my little 10 seconds. It's fast enough for what I have to do in my daily activities. All right, now let's go into, of course, the arena, right? This guy is designed to nuke in there, so let's just not complicate things here. Let's go with the same old build that I typically use. So I have like 2 CC champions, right? I have a pretty fast Arbiter, so it's typically very easy. We do have problems with these unkillables because he's not a Rotos. He's not going to ignore the unkillable buffs, but still, like, he can deal a lot of damage. 57k, 46k, that's pretty good overall, right? So let's try another run after this one because this was obviously very easy. Let's see if we can get something a little bit harder, maybe something with a Torment. This is kind of good. All right, so we got the passive working for us in this case, and which is why I think people really like him right now, because he became, or he is, a counter to Torment. So I use both because I'm sort of protecting myself against somebody that's faster than I am, and if I am faster than the other team and they have a Torment, then I'm protecting myself there as well with the Foli, right? So see right there, we got the trigger, but here's what happens. Okay, this is a perfect example, is that you are basically removing the freeze, but you're also getting a turn meter increase. So you're getting 2 chances of triggering the passive, if I am not mistaken, which is exactly what happened right there. It's kind of annoying, or it's a glitch and it's just like it's supposed to be this one thing, but I'm like, it's not the end of the world. I typically still end up, you know, winning most of the battles, but sometimes it'll screw you over and then, you know, you'll be dead. So this guy hits really hard. Also really great for taking out Torments because of their revive ability, right? So again, there's some pretty big hits. 50k. I love him, man. Like, he's my preferred nuker right now. Reminds me of my initial beginner build or beginning arena build, and this is the same setup. The only difference is that I do not even use a decreased defense because I have Helm Smasher and I'm running Cruel. Ideally, I would have 3 sets of Cruel, but like I said, I just don't have that kind of gear on my account where I would be able to be fast enough to also be the farmer at the same time, right? So not only am I hitting really hard as a farmer, but I'm above the 200 speed threshold so that I can go twice before each of the other enemies. Anyway, so now let's do quickly also the faction wars, because obviously I do use him there as well. And unfortunately, I'm still at the point where I'm only really farming level 15 on auto. Okay, so this guy is a part of that team, but I do have also some really hard-hitting cold hearts, right? We got a nice 60k hit right there, which is pretty impressive overall. But we are getting buffed by the Ghostborn. Okay, so we're getting increased attack and decreased defense, and we're getting the aura from our Xavia. So like I said, overall, it's a really effective and fast farming team. I just can't bring it all the way out to level 21 for now. My next step is kind of trying to reach the level 18, right, to be able to farm that, and then eventually it'll be about farming level 20. Okay, so a pretty good 34 seconds overall, so doing most of the damage, right? But of course, like I said, my cold hearts are really helping out. So anyway, guys, that is sort of it. Let's quickly look at the Great Hall. What kind of stats am I getting out of all this? I am in gold tier 4. That's all I'm doing for now, okay? I'm not even pushing for platinum because, as I explained before, you would have to get up at like 3 a.m. At least that's what it is for me to try and compete in the last hour, and I'm not going to do that. I'd rather sleep, to be honest. So we have 7 points into attack. We have maxed out crit damage. We do have the accuracy, and then a little bit of the rest, okay? So there it is, guys. My Foli, my favorite, I think, fusion so far. Torment is really great as well, but I feel like that because Foli can counter Torment and also block the revive, I'm giving the edge to Foli, okay? And I want to know what you guys think about him being a farmer. Am I crazy to do this, or should I try and re-gear a Kale or an Ethel to be a dedicated farmer? And like I said, there's no way I'm touching, again, my Bellower, because he's part of my all rares team and he is in a stun set. I think he's better this way. His masteries are also not done to be a hard hitter, but Foli is perfect for this. Hit these thresholds, the 100% crit rate, 200% speed, ideally above 250% crit damage, I think should be good enough. And you've got yourself a pretty good nuker for the arena. You've got a really good champion that can be used in some dungeons as well, as is. And like I said, faction wars, farmer, the whole thing. This guy is really shining right now. My favorite champion, and I wanted to show him today. Okay, so let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching today, and I will catch you guys later.